Hello, YouTube, and thank you for joining us today. It's going to be a great episode of The BOWA Show.
You sounded like Bob Ross there for a minute.
Did I?
Hello, YouTube. Welcome.
We're going to paint a pretty picture today with words.
We always try to paint a pretty picture, but sometimes it's harder, easier said than done.
Yeah.
Harder than what it sounds like.
Yeah. I know that you've been struggling with some positivity lately.
Oh, I'm always struggling with positivity. I'll give you that much. I think anybody who knows me knows that I struggle on a daily basis just being positive, and I think it's just because I don't know if it's just the person I am, my personality or genetics or whatever, but I'm more of a negative person than I am a positive person. I think it's kind of like, well, for once, analogies, they're gone. I don't have any. It's very difficult for me to be able to be a positive person because I'm more likely to be negative on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. It's been difficult lately because it's goddamn cold out.
Yeah, it's another rainy, gloomy day here in Michigan.
Family stuff, we all have it. Work stuff, we all have it. So I sit here and I tell myself, look, it's chill, it's fine. But still, I have my times.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
But you're going to muscle through this positivity package just like everybody on YouTube.
This will not be the hardest episode we've ever done. I promise you that.
It's the easiest hour of your week. You know,
I'll be honest with you, it really is.
All the hell we go through.
Because I speak what I think. I think this for me is very therapeutic being a part of this. And I think that's because I get to talk through.
Now we're going?
Indeed.
I told you it would just be a little flash for you guys on YouTube because it's instant. Whereas Ben was actually gone for like 5 minutes.
I wasn't like doing my laundry or anything.
That's exactly what he was doing.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Nah,
and Luke's taking a test. For those of you who don't know, I live with my brother. My brother's over there taking himself a test. And he got mad at me a moment ago and said, "Shut up, I'm taking a test."
He did.
Kind of shook.
You should be.
No, I'm not shook. Let's talk about that last little clip. Hold on.
Well,
that was a pretty good clip right there. It was tough to find a breaking point because I just wanted to keep listening.
You know, I got my first takeaway. Matthew McConaughey does enjoy money.
Don't we all? And come to think of it, Sean, I was doing my laundry just a moment ago.
He found a $100 bill with little Chinese markers on it that are clearly indicating that it is fake.
I bent down and was so excited. I thought Luke and I know Sean doesn't drink.
Ben was getting beer tonight.
I thought we were getting some Johnny Walker, baby. Thought we were getting some tall stuff. So I bent down instantly, and I was like, "Check this out."
Disappointed. That's all you got.
I don't know. Nobody knows where it came from. Sean said he didn't drop it there, but money makes people happy.
So I have a question for you, Ben.
But it's one of those things that makes you happy. But is it what makes you happy?
I know we've kind of hit on this before, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What is success to you?
That sucks. I hate that question.
Deal with it.
All right. For me, that's a hard thing for me because I swear to God, every 4 months it changes. Personally, in my life right now, success in the short term. Let's talk. Are you talking short term or long term, or both?
Both.
Well, I hate that. Short term for me right now would be the ability to make sure that I myself have my loans taken care of from school.
Okay.
And that I am working every day at a place that I really, really, really love. Now, the place that I work currently, bigwalldecor.com, does a great job, and I have a great time working with artists. I have a great time with my coworkers, and it's a good work environment oftentimes. Is it where I think my future lies ideally? I don't know. I would love for that to be it, but and if it turns into that, great, because I'm at the point right now where I'm thinking if something comes up and this is exactly what I was looking for, like when I first started it is, and it currently is still, that it fell into my lap I went in, I said, I need some work, and here I am running, working on big wall decor with a small team and doing good things. It's been great. But success for me in the short term is being able to pay my bills and take care of myself and make sure that on a daily basis, I don't care what comes up, I'm okay. Long term, I want every single one of my family members, including myself, to, if something comes up, I don't care if it's health, house, family, home, vehicle, I want to make sure that all of those things are covered. A lot of people say more money, more problems, and I'm here to tell you that money could solve 99.9% of my goddamn problems. A lot of people say money can't solve all your problems. Yes, it can. You can speak out about that here in a minute. Money can solve a lot of freaking problems, okay? If I got a wealth of money, most of my problems are taken care of besides my mentality and the people around me. That's very little issues, okay? Most of my problems on a daily basis are paying bills, taking care of things, getting my own place, moving up, doing the things, right? That's money. But success in the long run for me is I really want to be happy. Of course, cliche, duh. I want to be able to be at a place where I am calm on a nightly basis, but that I can help inspire or have an effect on people younger than me so that they can bring my wisdom into their generation. I'm not sure I'll have kids. I'm not sure that I will have grandkids. I'm not sure. I really would love to be a professor. Oh, you're all right, Hannah. It's all good. Everything's all good. When it comes down to it, I just want to be somebody that affects somebody younger than myself. Because I know that every day that I live today is one more day than somebody younger than myself. They are in more of their prime than I am.
Yeah.
Even when I'm 50 or 60 years old, somebody 40, 45 is in more of their prime.
Yeah.
I want to be there to inspire somebody younger than me to live a life better than what they could have done on their own. I've told Sean this before, that I, at the end of my life, really would love to be a professor at a university. I would love to teach art history or photography.
Yep.
Now, I know I've faltered with my photography in the last couple of years, but when it comes down to it, I love art. I love artwork. I love photography. Success for me is being able to take my true hobby that I know it is, my true love, my true passion, and that's art. The idea of art. And bring it to people and talk to younger people about it so that they can either take it or leave it, but bring it into the world in a different way. I think that's how parents feel. I think that's how grandparents feel. Now, I've never been there, but the idea that somebody younger than me or somebody, at a different place than me can take what we can brainstorm and think. I want to be an integral part of somebody's thought process in their search for happiness and passion and fulfillment. That is success for me. I don't need a mansion. What I ultimately want is peace and quiet. But I definitely want people to remember me and say, this Ben was the kind of guy who wanted me to pursue my passions. Ben was the kind of person that wanted me to pursue the idea that life isn't all about money and numbers and math and jobs. Life is about experiencing the artwork that is the earth, the artwork that is humanity, the artwork that is the human experience. We're not here to make money. We're here to live as human beings. That is what success would be to me, is having even 0.01% of an impact on anybody going forward, that they can experience their own understanding in that realm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I talk a lot and it doesn't make any sense even to me half the time.
No, I'm paying attention, thankfully for you.
I just want people to be happy.
Let me follow up with it then.
Yes, please.
So, it sounds like in a nutshell you're saying that security is a part of success because you want to be able to sustain things for yourself and your family.
Human thing. That's a human thing. We all want to survive and thrive.
Yep.
All right? We all want to make sure that we're fed and have a home.
Yep, some money plays into it, but ultimately, you say you want to teach someone.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you want to
have them teach me.
Someone.
I want to interact with somebody at a point in my life that I'm not at anymore. Does that make sense? I guess where it's at is like...
So you're pigeonholing yourself.
I wish, sometimes I wish that I had somebody older and wiser than me reach out to me when I was in college. Does that make sense?
But why does it have to be in the past? Why is this not a moment that can still happen?
Oh, it can definitely still happen. For me, I guess the idea is that in the late teens, early 20s, and late 20s, I think it's super important for somebody to have a role model or a roadmap or somebody helping guide them. And even if there's nobody to guide them, I think it's important for somebody to have somebody that they can brainstorm with and bounce ideas off of. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. I want to be able to be that person for somebody that somebody can talk to me and maybe not gain anything. Maybe not, get life, lessons from. But just talk to. Mm-hmm. Hi, my name's Ben. I've done this, and this. I'm passionate about this, and this. And I feel strongly about this, and this. And here's my experience. And have somebody else in a different point of view. They could be the same age or older. I don't care. But the human interaction. I guess that's what I'm saying. Is I want meaningful... Success for me is human meaningful interaction. Mm-hmm. And that just took me 5 minutes to determine, and I answered my own question, and your own question, because I do agree. You're right. It'd be great to be a professor, but you're right. What I'm actually searching for is for meaningful human interaction between me and another human being that benefits us both.
Mm-hmm. And now...
that sucks.
Can I hit you with the shot to say that you've already done that on multiple occasions and you're not giving yourself credit for it? So that happens between you and I on a regular basis.
All right, show me the proof.
You and I. Because I am the easiest example to sit here and say that. That is the exact interaction that you and I have on a regular basis. A collaborative effort towards both of us bettering ourselves, being at different places in our lives, and feeding off of each other because of that. I will also go one step further and say I know we have several listeners of our show who have reiterated the fact that you have made an impact on them and they continue to bounce things off of you and talk to you on a regular basis because they appreciate your perspective and you've made that interaction with them. Now, granted, like you said, you're looking for meaningful, sustained human interaction.
I guess what I'm looking for is, and I think a lot of us are thinking for this too, I understand where you're coming from with what you're saying, but I think it comes down to status or specific circumstances. You're right. I said I hope in one day I'm a professor, mm-hmm. and I'm teaching to other people. But I see what you're saying because I do hear my boy Kenny. Goddamn Kenny, I miss you. Please hit me up and let's grab a beer. I see that though, because Kenny has told me multiple times that I have had an impact on him because of the way I speak and my ideas. Yeah. Now, he doesn't have to listen to this podcast to get into the root of my brain, so he can hit me up at any time. He's got my cell phone number, but I understand that. When I think about that, I get that. But I don't think about that because
because you're a negative thinker. No, because you're a negative
status thing. Right, it's a status thing. Like maybe I'm doing yeah, god damn it. All right. Maybe it's but here's the thing is like I want to inspire the youth, right? So I say I want to be a professor. I want to be on this. And
are you becoming a wet eye?
But I think you're kind of right though.
See, instead of acknowledging the fact that I am that and I will continue to be successful, and I am going to continue to interact with people in a meaningful way, and I'm going to continue to inspire. You're not even giving yourself credit for the ones you've already accomplished, but you're saying it is a future endeavor.
Because I don't realize or acknowledge that. I guess it's no, you're right. Let's say, okay, this guy wants to coach major league pitchers, right? And he inspires a bunch of minor league pitchers, right?
And
he did what he
give
set out to
credit.
do until he coaches Verlander,
The big leagues,
right?
Yep.
Right.
Even though he might have coached in the minors, 2 or 3 guys
He
who ended up
wasn't
getting
there.
called
He
up.
wasn't
He wasn't
there.
there at the show himself.
I guess I understand where you're coming from, but it definitely pisses me off.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
no, because
I hear where you're coming
what
from,
you're saying,
but I don't know what to do.
Well,
about
because
it.
what you're thinking is that, like, if you, it's almost like if you recognize your current success, you're selling yourself short for the future and thinking that you're not going to be driven to attain more.
Almost. That if you are, because I have seen so often that success in the short run can cause complacency. I've seen that as soon as somebody achieves their goal in the short run, they've got these short-term goals that all of a sudden they're like, I did this. I'm good. It's like, dude, you're 25. Like, you got you got 3/4 of a life to live still. How can you be complacent there? And I can understand that. And that's the drive. It's almost like, here's a terrible analogy, which I'm great at. I hope
any of our listeners out there know that Ben is full of terrible
phenomenal
analogies.
at terrible analogies. But let's say you're an artist, right? And you like to sing and make music. Okay? All of a sudden, your song gets on the radio.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a great feat.
Yep.
A lot of people around you will say, congratulations. Your song's on the goddamn radio.
Yep.
But somebody in their head like me is like, yeah, but I want to be Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Right? I want to be, you
want to be
Billboard Top 100.
Yep.
It's like, yo, chill. You are succeeding.
Right.
You've created a great song and people are listening to it on YouTube, Spotify, all this. You're doing a good job.
Yep.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I want to talk to people and brainstorm about the future and being passionate about art and the idea that life isn't black and white, and indulging in your daily lifestyle and enjoying the art of life.
But all you're getting back to in that sense is the comparative mind. You know what I mean?
It is comparative mind.
And it's what dictates so much of your life and so much of everybody else's life.
It dictates my life on a daily basis.
You know what I mean? That
Absolutely.
it's not just you.
That's why I hope our listeners know I am not perfect. I am here, and we knew when we started this podcast that I was doing it almost as a way for myself to grow as well.
Yeah, well, and like,
I needed this.
That genuine voice of the audience, that like, I am a firm believer in, like, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. I'm always going to talk about my life experiences and stuff on here, but at the same time, you notice that a majority of the things that we talk about are other people's ideas and other people who are giving these talks and stuff like that.
We're not geniuses.
Right? I don't think I know everything. I just know what works for me. And so that's why we just try and pass along a lot of other information to you as to, these people who have these thoughts, the science behind these things. But, getting back to what he said, it really hits home for me that, your circle matters. That, a lot of times your circle can dictate who and what you are. Right. And when it's off base, it makes everything else in your life feel off kilter.
We have this argument often.
Right? And I love, though, that, he said by process of elimination, you put the right path in front of you by slowly working out those kinks, right. And for me, like I said, it doesn't mean you have to drop all your friends and suddenly start over from scratch. That can be really scary to a lot of people. That's intimidating. And so you don't have to take it from that mentality, but you can start adding positive people. You can start hanging out more with people who make you a better person, as opposed to the ones who kind of make you feel shitty when you're around them. Or, and I feel like the more you include people into your life who support you and want the best for you, the more those people who don't will kind of find themselves falling by the wayside, because they'll be like, I don't really fit into that plan anymore.
In my life, they fade themselves out.
Right, and
They
so
really do fade. They fade out.
that's why it's funny that you talk all the time about eliminating toxic people, and I guarantee you
I don't
still
have to work at it. It just happens.
Well, what I was going to say is I guarantee you still have pleasant relationships with the toxic people in your life.
Yeah.
You're just not familiar with them anymore.
Right.
You know what I
and
mean?
I think they
themselves,
understand that themselves too. Like,
right.
all of a sudden they're like, well, Ben's not who I'm
who I
closest
want to be around.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're just not vibing the same way we once were.
It's the same way, between both of us. I've got plenty of friends who were great acquaintances. We've got a lot of history together, but we're not great friends now, and that just happens because we all change. I mean, we're in our 20s, you and I.
Right, and still evolving all the time. You know, your personality changes. The things you enjoy change. As you develop new hobbies, you'll meet new people.
Yeah.
It's not... The people you hang out with don't always have to be the work people. Unfortunately, in a lot of circumstances in this world, your friend group changes and stuff. I know I'm pretty blessed that I still have a lot of friends from elementary school.
Yes,
you know,
you do.
and
You're very blessed.
That's not normal for a lot of circles. Most people move cities, and by doing that, you kind of isolate yourself until you develop new friendships.
It's very hard to make new old friends.
Yeah,
it really is.
That doesn't ever mean that you won't bump into those people and still be okay and still be able to have a talk and see how things are going, but they're not going to fit into your life as much anymore. And again, it just comes back to that one true self, that
build your own foundation.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of like the moral of everything he's talking about thus far, is that like it's identifying that one true self. It's knowing who you are through and through, and when you have that established and you're not going to accept anything less than it, the right people will find you in life, and those bad ones will start to work their way out, and it's a tough process, but so worthwhile. And that goes back to what he said in the very beginning of this whole thing. It's worth the sweat, it's worth the hard times.
Sweat equity.
Yeah,
you just got to put the time in.
You got to put in the work. You have to tend to your own garden. You have to prioritize who you are and who you want to be. And once these things are established, it's much easier to find a place of happiness. It's much easier to find joy out of life. It's much easier to be content with who you are because you're the same all the time. You don't ever feel like you're putting on a mask. Life isn't exhausting because you're not pretending to be something you're not.
That itself is very meaningful because I think so many people have this idea of what success is in their head, short term and long term. And regardless of what they think short term and long term, still, like myself, I'll be straight up honest. I've got short-term goals, I've got long-term goals. But when it comes to tomorrow, I've got a different idea of just succeeding tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes succeeding tomorrow means I have to act differently to not meet my short-term goals or my long-term goals. So I put on a facade,
mm-hmm.
or I put on a different personality, or I put on a different mask for that day.
Yep.
I think that's necessary at times, but I also think it's necessary to realize that you're doing that in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult because sometimes you're like, well, what am I going to do today? Today does not define your future,
mm-hmm.
but today definitely defines your near future, right? So keep your goals in mind, short-term and long-term, but get through today. And if that means adapting to what you have to do for today, then you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword because one thing that I have said before, the fake it till you make it kind of attitude.
That's how I live my life.
And it does for a lot of people. But I also saw a quote not too long ago from Facebook, and one of those things that just rolls around on there. Don't fake it till you make it. That's garbage advice. Face it till you make it. Get up, work hard, fail, stand back up, face it again, do a little better, fail again, get back up, repeat. And I really do, fake it till you make it implies that by faking it, you're not actually there, you're not actually a participant in it, you know what I mean? I feel like even faking it until you making it is still doing it, you're not faking it, you are putting out the effort. Whether or not it's fake is irrelevant because you're doing it, so it's real.
Hold on, let's take a moment for me to process that. I get that.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you for the moment of silence
Yep.
there. I get that. I 100% get that because that's tough, Sean, because a lot of us fake it till we make it, especially at our age. You know, under 30 years old, under 40 years old, sometimes we're just going through the motions, waiting for tomorrow, right? Things will be different tomorrow. Right now, I got to fake it till I make it. And we've spoken a lot about don't think that way because, you know, your time is short, this and that. But if you got to fake it till you make it, I think it's okay to a certain extent. Because if you've got to do this thing or act this way to get through today, I think that's okay. But where I think it really causes an issue is when it becomes complacency. When you're fake it till you make it, all of a sudden you hit a certain point in your life or a certain age in your life. When you look back and you say, okay, I've been faking it till I make it, but I ain't goddamn made it.
Yeah.
What now? And I think the way that you're speaking about it makes a lot of sense. Just in the aspect of understand that you're faking it, but really still retain, I might be taking this wrong, but still really retain what your goals are, even if you have to fake it right now.
Well, I guess
I don't have a problem with faking it right now until you fake it every day.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And here's what I'm saying. We talk a lot about gratitude. We talk a lot about being thankful for things, about taking positives from negative situations. What I'm saying is it's one more positive that you can draw from it. Even by faking it, you are finding the courage to fake it.
Right.
That's something to be proud of. That's something to say that you're not necessarily faking it. You know what I mean? Like, you're actually doing it. I understand that you're putting on a mask. I understand that beneath it you feel like crap and downtrodden and that the world's against you, but you're putting on that face to say, I'm going to smile and I'm going to, you know, but by doing that, that's courageous. That's not faking it. That's actually, like, super strong. You know, and like, even though I feel like by saying fake it till you make it, you're almost putting like a negative connotation on it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, you're not
exactly
faking it. Right. You're not faking it. You're doing something to be proud of.
That's tough, though. And that's something to think about. That's something to converse about. Because I could say somebody that goes to work every day and fakes it till they makes it.
Till they makes it.
Some people, though, I think it depends on where you're coming from. Okay, I think a lot of people that are listening to this, especially at this point in the episode, and people that are really faking it and feeling it and doing it as though it's how I get through today, those people, thank you for still being here with us. Those people do feel that way. There's a lot of people that fake it till they make it as complacency and as just a quick way of getting through the day until they can get home and do their own thing. It's such a distinction, I feel like. Here's a great personal example, okay? I normally don't go into this kind of personal detail. I had a lot of friends in my past, in college especially, that they would fake it through college. And by fake it, I mean they would go to class, and they would come home, and they would just wait for the next party. They would do drugs. They would smoke weed. They would drink a lot of alcohol. They were faking it every day in school and in that point or in their career until they make it, until they can get to the party. There's a big difference there between somebody that fakes it, like myself. Sometimes I fake that I'm on the right path every day, or that I think that everything I'm doing today is exactly the correct steps I need to get to my short-term goals. To make it. Just because sometimes one day doesn't turn out the way it should, that's when I fake it. Just because I see, okay, today is not going to be the day where I make that next big step, right? So I fake it, but I get closer still. I fake it and I still inch closer, even if it wasn't the 10 yards I was hoping to gain today. I fake it and gain half a yard, right? There's a big difference between that and just faking it to where you just go through the motions.
Yeah.
Going through the motions is okay sometimes. But when you go through the motions and it becomes your personality, and let me just throw this out there. I know friends that are in the service industry, I guess you could say, are in waiting staff, and they just fake it every day. They don't want to be in the waiting staff. They don't want to be a waiter, waitress, bartender. they fake it every day. Hi, you know, so and so. Hey, okay. That is real faking it because they're not happy.
Yeah.
They're not happy that they're there. They're not happy, and that day that they work isn't getting them closer to where they want to be, unless they fake it to an extent where they say, "Okay, I understand. I'm gonna fake it and be happy and do what I need to at my job, but I'm still gonna be positive."
Or I'm like going to nursing school, or I'm
Big
trying to get to
difference.
something else.
There's
you
a
know?
big difference. As soon as it's complacency and you say, I'm just waiting for something easy to come my way, I'll keep doing this until my future shows itself. That's bullshit. Nobody's future just, hey, here you go.
Here's
Hey,
your silver
you've
platter.
been doing this for me. Fuck Nicholas Sparks books and movies. All right, nobody just does their thing and all of a sudden, hey, here's my real life goal. All of a sudden, here, I'm just doing this thing, and all of a sudden, hey, here we are, magical. Well, fuck that shit. All right. Always have your own goals at heart is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you always have your own goals in mind, even if you're faking it to get to an end goal, versus complacency where you're just literally faking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It does.
Because I feel like I'm just jabbering on.
No,
but
you put in the work.
there's a big difference.
You tend to your own garden. We've talked about this before. You build your foundation.
Right.
You put on your own life vest first. You know what I mean? You put on your own oxygen mask first. Any of these things just tie into the exact same thing, that you got to have a little selfishness but again, I feel like that selfishness just comes down to like, you just need to know your true self. When you have that all the time, a lot of things change for you. And that's where that path to joy and that path to contentness starts, is by identifying your true self. And again, like he said, it's almost by a process of elimination. It's easier to find out who you are not, identify those things. Who do I not want to be? What do I not want to go for?
I feel very strongly about that.
Right? What are the areas of my life I'm not going to let myself become?
It's easier.
It is.
It's easier, and I'm not saying take the easy way out all the time, but
no, but establish the things that you don't want to be,
right,
and find out from there, okay, what am I left with that I can be then?
Exactly.
No,
I completely agree, and I can relate that to my life right now. Like, there's so little time in the day. You understand this yourself. Like, once you're in the area where you're living your own career and you're doing your own thing, it comes down to, what do I have time for today? Right? And when you really think of those kind of things, it's like, I don't have time for that much.
Yeah.
If you think about a week as an adult working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, you don't have time for much.
Right.
So what can I cut to become happier? Now, I'm going to throw this out there, and some people might get upset because it's always my analogy. I haven't worked out in a long time. Because at this point in my life right now, my short-term goals do not include me going to the goddamn gym. You know what they include? Is me becoming a little bit happier and doing more of my passion, reading more, learning more about art history, and finding these things that I'm passionate about.
And you only have X amount of time.
I only have X amount of time, and going to the gym and working on my biceps is not one of those things I give a fuck about.
Yeah, not.
Pardon me, YouTube.
Right. Well, we're already done on
yes,
that. So.
Well, that's the first F word I dropped tonight, but it doesn't make sense. Okay, don't live other people's goals for yourself. What you need to do is make sure that you can take time to find what you want to do. And for me, personally, and I don't know why, the only thing I can ever express to other people is my own thoughts and my own feelings, is that, yes, I should go work out. Yes, I should lose weight. But that is not in my short-term goals. Maybe in my long-term goals, so I keep it in the back of my head. But my short-term goals are becoming happier, hiking more and enjoying natural life, and rekindling the passions I've had in the past. That's why those are the things I focus on. And even though every time I go on Facebook, somebody's telling me that I'm wrong, I don't listen.
I think that ultimately those are actually the things that are what make you successful. And I think that you kind of took yourself there.
I just have to, that's why I come on this show, Sean, so I can talk myself through my own
Right. That's all it is.
My short-term goals are different than my long-term goals, and they're different than my daily goals. I fake it till I make it a lot. but I don't want to fake it so much till I make it that I become complacent in my daily life.
Yep. And I think you're.
That's my message.
Yeah. I also think that's a good wrap-up point for the conversation for today. We have a lot more Matthew McConaughey to go through, so I guess we're just going to make this a future episode, too. I think that next week we'll probably come back to Passion Week 3 and go back to Tony Robbins. Wanted to take a little breather from it this week, let it all digest for you guys. Maybe you go back and listen to that episode from last week. But, yeah, we want to kind of break up topics a little bit. I just don't want to keep hitting on the same thing over and over again. Obviously, we could talk about passion for 6 weeks in a row.
I mean, we do hit on the same thing every time. That's positivity, being happy. We all want to be happy, but there's so, being happy is this, dream up here, right? Yeah. And you and I both know that it's infinite numbers of roots.
Yeah, it's a part of the journey. It's not a destination.
Not at all. If it's a destination, you will not find it.
Right. You find joy out of the everyday things. Happiness, is stops along the way. It's never a destination. You're never gonna be enlightened. You're never gonna be the Buddha, and you might as well stop and smell the roses and enjoy life.
It's about living in the present. We talk about it all the time, and it's not a joke. Right. Once you can learn to live in the present, not in the future. Living in the future is anxiety. Living in the past is depression. Once you can live in the present, that is when you will truly find happiness and peace and passion and peace.
Yeah. And I think we found the name of this episode, One True Self. I feel like that really is appropriate.
I think so, definitely.
Well, we're going to take a short break and jump into some comedy coming up next. But we have nothing picked out yet, so give us a moment.
Don't tell everybody
it doesn't matter, because for them it's going to be a quick cut, and all of a sudden they're going to have comedy. So
I just don't want them to think that we're unprepared, but we're unprepared.
I mean, YouTube already knows. The podcast might as well get a taste of it today, too.
I feel you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Cool.
Maybe you'll actually hit stop this time. That's how we come back from break, baby.
I don't fuck around. If we're not getting monetized,
you might as well have fun.
What can you do?
We've got Josh Henson, Laugh Factory on YouTube. You guys can check that out. Laugh Factory gives weekly comedy, so it's pretty nice to go check out if you could use a smile.
Daily for me. Sometimes I check out Laugh Factory when I'm not even on the show. It's great. Check it out. It's not Comedy Cellar. It's Laugh Factory. I find it on Reddit. I find it on all sorts of YouTube. Freaking on iFunny.
Friggin'
Facebook. Facebook. Check them out. Laugh Factory's dope.
Enjoy.
Life changes when you have kids. That's certainly true. I think there's nothing more frightening than the first night at home with a newborn as a new parent. That's scary shit, man. The first night when you come home. And I think my son could tell that we were a little wound up because he had this look on his face like he was going, "Can I talk to a manager? Is there anybody?" What happened to the nurse lady that was around for the last few days? She seemed to know what she was. No, you guys are wonderful. Is there a supervisor here that I could talk to?
I don't know. It's weird.
But it all changes when you have your second kid. That first time you have a kid and you're in the delivery room and you're waiting, you see your baby for the first time. That's a magical moment. It's a very grand moment. That's like proof of a higher power moment. You're like, holy shit, this is the fucking miracle of childbirth. This is my baby. We created this child out of our love. I will forever remember this moment in time. This is beautiful. The second time you see your baby for the first time, you go, oh, fuck. Because you know what you're getting into the second time around. You know how bad it sucks. I mean, having a kid is great, but just that first 3 months just fucking blows donkey dick so badly. It's just so bad.
Demonetized.
And you can tell, the enthusiasm for being a parent wanes with every kid. You know what I mean? The more kids you have, the less pictures you take. Have you ever noticed that? First kid, 10,000 fucking pictures a day. It's like flip book animation. You can watch the kid grow up.
I've
right?
seen it on Facebook.
Second
Right?
kid, special occasions, birthdays, milestones, first steps. Third kid, you know what? I got my hands full. I'll remember this moment. All right? I'll just mental snapshot. We're good. I'm moving on, man. I'm the fifth of 5 kids. I got like a pencil sketch of me. A police artist did when they left me at a fucking rest stop. That's what. There's no evidence. You would think that I just showed up at 18. Hey, what's up? You guys mind if I crash in the shitty bedroom that nobody wants?
That is awesome.
Yeah, just a quick one.
What's his name again, Ben?
Josh Henson.
Josh Henson.
From Laugh Factory. Absolutely phenomenal comedian. You can catch him. He's actually got live stuff on Netflix and Hulu, I believe.
Cool.
Stand-up comedy. So check him out. It's been great.
It has been a good episode.
Yeah, it's been a good episode.
And thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for being a part of the BOWA show. As we always do with that housekeeping at the beginning and end, make sure that you've subscribed on whatever platform you get your podcast from. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Podbox, whatever this thing might be that you enjoy the podcast on. Maybe you're on YouTube right now. Maybe you've clicked that subscribe button down in that lower left corner.
And the bell so you get a notification.
Every single time the BOWA show puts out something new, you get told about it. So we might also start doing some more shorter clips to sprinkle in throughout the week as well. Yeah, I think that was something that went over well before, and we'll make sure we plug that back in. Come join us on the BOWA Show podcast Facebook page to be a part of a growing community that is ever expanding, and so thankful to the people who are a part of that growth. Yes. Your participation means everything to us. Our show would be nothing without you, the listeners, tuning in and letting us know that it means something to you. You know, like I said earlier, it was easy to get discouraged for a minute, where it's like, man, are we doing something wrong? You know,
right?
And then to just find out that you're making that impact on people, and for someone to specifically say, like, you never know the impact that you're making on people, means the world to us. So the fact that people were willing to share that means absolutely everything. So I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of the show. I hope you know that you're loved. I hope you know that you matter. I hope you know that your potential far exceeds what you think you're capable of.
It's all a community.
It is absolutely crucial that you see it in yourself, though, because I can tell you until I'm blue in the face that you need to feel better about yourself, that you need to think highly of yourself, but without you believing it, it doesn't mean a whole lot. So I hope you take that to heart, and I hope that you know that you're loved. I hope you know that we love you, and we appreciate absolutely everything that you guys do for us. Thank you so much for tuning into the BOWA Show. As always, I'm Sean. This is Ben. Spread some love, tackle today, and as always, make the best of what's around.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, YouTube.
Thank you, YouTube.
Thank you for being a part of the journey. Episode 30, it's a milestone. It really is. And it's a milestone that we're very grateful that you guys are a part of, too. It's crazy that we're more than halfway to like a year's worth of episodes. So,
yeah, absolutely. We're over halfway there.
Yeah, I love that YouTube's getting better and better. It's becoming something that more people are responding to. Apparently you like the back and forth bullshit between me and Ben. All the mistakes we make, all of the flaws.
I think it's funny how people like the uncut version better than the real cut version.
Right?
I mean, that's wild.
You still have both, though, so that's a nice thing. Make sure that you tell people about the BOWA Show. We're nothing without you and your support. We love you guys. Signing out.
Join us again next week.
Thank you.
Can I hit that button?